All right. I don't know how the audio of this is going to turn out. I've been trying for 2 hours to get it going. Hey guys, it's Turok. Sorry, don't mind me. I got the new chapter of One Piece came out today. Hurrah! Sorry, I gotta get into the mood now because I was trying to. So we get a lot today in different ways. Even when Oda seems to give us so little, this is awesome. Start off with we have we get a little information today that I don't know. I should backtrack. So last chapter we found out who the traitor is. It turns out to be one I didn't. I don't think I suspected at all. I actually forgot to go look through my other video. I made one with my main suspects when I made that video like weeks ago, maybe 2 months ago almost now. I had thought maybe it would be uh, Shaka or Lilith first. Lilith, Shaka, and Atlas. Uh, turned out, turns out none of them were involved, and one of them is dead now, and the other one's turned to stone, and the third one's about to meet York and see what's happening here. Uh, Also, by the way, I didn't realize here in the last chapter, 1078, when York here went up to shock Stella, that she opened up the door and was inside with him. So I don't know if she's uh I was thinking like, does that mean she was about to shoot him? But it doesn't look like that. So as we're seeing this chapter, uh, and we also we had a recap of how she contacted the Gorosei or the world government, told them information that eventually got her to talk to the Gorosei by revealing that Vegapunk was researching the Void Century and the Ancient Kingdom, which is a big no-no for them. And we also know that Bonnie, a small bit, we saw that Bonnie probably viewed all her father's memories, and it looks like also, Kaku and Zoro have broken off and are pursuing the S Hawk because he's gotten away and looks like he's probably going to go after some of the other Straw Hats, who are the and the other Stellas who are still there. Uh, Actually, I don't know how that worked. Let's yeah, the other Straw Hats who are together. We had Chopper and we had Chopper with Robin and let's go. There it is. Yeah. So says yes, Stusty's with Jinbei. Chopper, Robin, and Atlas are about to go in the basement. Nami is with Edison, and Sanji's there now. And Brooke's gonna look for this Vegapunk too. So we're about to see who's gonna find Vegapunk first. I guess we got Brooke looking, and Atlas is gonna lead Chopper, not Robin, to the basement. So lots happening there, and so that's also I think there's no more there's no cover story for this week. So let's get into it. Let's see. And then now we just do a cover art request that shows Luffy with a line, and he's putting water on it because he thinks it's a it's a sunflower. That's cute. So we start this chapter. This is where we get some things of interest here with York. We start this chapter with a little flashback, and we see how she. This is something I was I was a few things here I was actually kind of correct about. With I made a video last week about her whole how she was unleashed this plan she was unveiling, and we see here uh that we see where she talked to the seraphim, and we don't see still the other three that we assume they are there of the other warlords. We still just see the four that the cipher pole Zero brought, the one that they had with them. By the way, what were they doing with that one? Were they taking out for rounds? Because I think uh was it S Hawk and S? Was it just S Hawk? Was it also Kobe? With Kobe, Kobe had at least one or two of them with him that we saw here. I know it was S Hawk because he attacked Blackbeard when they were at Amazon Lily. And I'm wondering what Cypherpole and we're going or trying to take. We're taking Esper. So they brought him back, and these other three got deployed with Centumaro to chase off Cypherpole Zero. So yes, so York here, we find out here that she's talking to them, and based on when looking back at the other chapters, we can figure out exactly when she did this. And I was pointing this out in the my video last week. So this was right after Edison and Lilith went out there. After Stussy stopped Cypherpole Zero, Edison and Lilith got outside there and were able to stop the the Seraphims, and that was in chapter I think 1073. So 1073, right? So in 1073, let me make sure I got this right. Actually, to backtrack a little bit, this was of interest. This was right before in 1071 when Vegapunk asks Stussy to help them. Visa York was in the background. She had just consumed a lot of food again and was sleeping. So she must excuse herself at some point here to use the restroom. And this is must have been when she snuck out to talk to the Seraphim when after Edison and Lilith leave, because they just leave the Seraphim out in the front of the lab. And what we see here in today's chapter is that she went out there and talked to him. So and then in 1070, was it 4? Yeah, in 1074, I showed an image of this in my video last week when she's walking back in as Shaka is telling everyone the situation they're in. She's walking back in and she's relieved herself. We assume because we saw a few chapters before she was full again. This must have been when she went out there, and I was thinking about that was the case before. And she also at some point here must have done something with Estella, but we don't know how she did that yet. But we start the chapter here showing the next thing too is she realizes now because Cypherpole Zero were there that they're going to try and kill everyone and not going to uphold her her deal to make her a celestial dragon. So, but she still seems to she's still got something up her sleeve here, because also she says here she's got a plan here to do this. Also, based on the confidence of how she told the Stella in the last chapter that she's going to be a celestial dragon, she's clearly thought this ahead, a contingency plan just in case. Yeah, so we see here how she briefs the Stellas. I keep mixing up Stella and Seraphim. She briefs the Seraphim here on her plan a little bit, and so what we find out here is her plan. First thing she reveals is that she tells the Seraphim to kill everyone else in the lab except for herself, the Stella, and the other Cypherpole agents in the basement. Actually, she calls them hostages in this translation. I'm wondering if that just means the Cypherpole agents or if she had something else, some other hostage there. Because I was just thinking for a moment, what other leverage would she have to get the world government to back down from trying to kill her as well? So we'll see on that. But so then she goes over here and we also see for the first time the other Seraphim talk. They all at once acknowledge her order, using this saying understood in this translation. And so the next thing she does here too is we do see here she planned on having herself turned to stone. So yeah, she does. She tells plan on having herself taken out so she would be removed from suspicion here, and tells turn me into stone, and then when everyone else is around, turn me back. Also, by the way, it's kind of a little bit cute here how she's talking to the seraphim. She's just the height of the seraphim with her own height, she's taller than all the seraphim except Esper, but she's sitting down, kind of bending toward them, and like a mother talking to a kid. And so you still sense she's just, now we realize her mission, because she just, the way she's talking to him looks like she's like giving him orders like a mother would, like, okay, kids, you do this over here, and you're gonna go over there. Oh, all right, we all understand our part, and it's just like, yeah. And by the way, it's something else of interest here. One of the most other interesting part. I keep saying everything's interesting. The last bit of this we ends with, she says to them, uh, there are parts of the laboratory I don't want you to destroy. So she's going to use, she seems like York's planning on using something in the lab to help her take out to help try to defend herself, or stop I don't know, because like there's a weapons hall or lab there that what's his name talked about, that oh yeah, Jinbei and Stussy and Sanji were walking in it earlier. So she's planning on doing something with that to maybe that, or maybe there's still the other seraphim there, so I don't know if she's planning on using them to help her. And she also even acknowledges how she's not strong enough to do much herself. So I don't know, so she's up to something here. I'm just trying to figure out what she could have in mind, because now we got, once if Saint Jay Garcia gets here, I should step back a little bit. If he gets here soon, I don't think her plan's gonna go well no matter what. It's because she's gonna have her she's gonna have how do you put it? Sorry, I'm just, oh, that's right. Her authority is going to be superseded by him once he gets there. So it's like, what is she planning now that she can do to get out? I'm really hyped now to see what's going to happen here with her ability to use her Vegapunk's genius to trick the get out of this alive. By the way, too, uh, when she's telling him a plan, she's still eating there. She has a drumstick with her, even though she just like must have relieved herself, because I saw a couple chapters before she was out there, she was already eating. She's already preparing to eat again, so she just seems to not be able to help herself and always eating. Oh, one more thing too. I keep forgetting with this moment here. This is right around the same time that Vegapunk disappears, because in 1074, that's when Shaka uh, briefs everyone on that situation, as well as I'm being stuck in there. And she, so I don't know still if someone else went over there to get him. Someone else, I'm still thinking something else happened there with someone else other than actually her, I think, kidnapped Vegapunk. As she went out to, the timing of it is why I'm pointing this out. She left the command room to just use facilities as far as everyone else was concerned, but then she goes down here actually outside to enact her plan, and then it looked like she came back and let Bonnie and the Stella Vegapunk look like they were in a way different part of the lab. So I suspect she's still using help here, whether it be Caribou or one of the other Seraphim, we don't know. And because too she was with the other group and she must have came back, I'm still convinced too that must have been either the same thing, Caribou. No, based on that explosion, I'm thinking she still must have one of the other Seraphim out there. We just haven't seen if she did command those other ones to come out of their holding areas. Because that was an explosion, I recall, that went after, that destroyed Pythagoras' main body. Unless she gave Caribou a rocket launcher or some other type of explosive weapon like that. So there is definitely more than just her. Everything here ties together to show there's more than her. Just so I just keep looking at the camera to make sure. It's more here going on than just her. No, tongue tied. She's definitely getting help. That's what I'm trying to get at. She's got some help here with more than just the ones we've seen, because they're waiting outside. and this is when the Stella was with Bonnie, and then he disappeared, and then Pythagoras is already searching right about this time. So she must have sent one of those other. She must have either had Caribou or another seraphim go out there, because the timing of it just doesn't show that she could be there. And again, also because many of the Denden Mushies were still working. If she had been the one to go over that way where Bonnie is, because Shaka would have realized it's her. So somehow, someone sneaking around with some stealth, either Caribou with his fruit, or maybe there's something going on with that other technology I spoke about that could be helping them avoid detection here. So yeah, what is she up to now? Too is like the question. She's clearly not going to get the plan, the deal she wanted anymore. So she's I don't know what she's planning on, how she's going to do this, but she seems confident in it. And she ends this off too by saying, "Start the hunt with them." Oh, I guess it means going after the others. So yeah, she definitely. That's what I was saying before. I had said before, why didn't she let Cypherpole continue the plan? Well, that's because, well, one, the others stopped them sooner, and two, she's on their list, so she probably, York was probably happy that that the Straw Hats or Stussy stopped Cypherpole Zero. Otherwise, I don't know if she would have like just sent the other Seraphim out to fight these ones. That probably would have, but that would have been 3 against 4. They only got 3. So I wonder, well, yeah, how would she have done this if the Straw Hats gonna come here? In some ways, she's probably grateful that the Straw Hats are here, because it probably made it easier for her to make this plan work now that she knows the government plans on killing her as well. So we end off the scene with the evacuation of the other staff and scientists that Centumara ordered them. So I was surprised they found a ship there, because it seemed like Cypherpole Zero had like Lucci and everybody had ordered their their regular agents to go out and make sure everything was destroyed. But it looks like there's at least one ship left, and we see a bunch of them, everyone gathering onto a fairly large 3-mast sailing ship there, getting ready to leave. Oh, that's what that panel is. Oh man, hold on a second. I missed this panel totally. I really gotta slow down when I read these. Holy shit, things just got worse for us. Or maybe. um this panel right before we switch over to the last scene. Sorry, I'm just processing this. And I was eating a little popcorn. The last panel we see of Egghead, we see that one of Blackbeard's ships are heading to the island, and they're right freaking offshore. We can tell because initially we see what looks like a sail with a part of a ship, which right away doesn't look like any other ship we've seen in the series. A second, we get Oda clarifies it to us by showing his Jolly Roger flag on top of this ship. So, what the fuck are they doing there? And I was just looking at the captains quickly that are available, because I don't think this would be Blackbeard. This looked like, unless the timing is off, and Oda does stuff like this, Blackbeard and Van Augur and Jesus Burgess were fighting Law and his crew in 1063. Again, that was like right in the beginning of this arc, and we haven't seen anything from that since, so we still don't know what's happening with Law. But I was just looking at the other captains. I wonder if he's sending. Oh yeah, Doc Q was also with them. So 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So what did he got? Three of his captains are with him that we saw. Blackbeard and 3 of them. So 4 of the 10, no, 4 of the 11 really, were there fighting Law. So I'm wondering if he must be very likely sent one of the others there. So those Vasco Shot, Sanwan Wolf, Katrina, Shiru, Pizarro and Lafitte. We don't, and Aokiji too. We know Aokiji is there now. So with them, because he helped him and Augur are the ones who kidnapped Pudding from Whole Cake Island. So what the hell? And they're there now. Oh my god. I should have waited to make that video I did. I made a video about everyone who was about to arrive on the island, and I was thinking that maybe Marco and Miss Stussy would arrive there too, as everything else is going down. But now Blackbeard has one of his ships there too. This doesn't. This is just becoming even more crazy than I thought Oda could. I should never underestimate Oda. I gotta sit up. I keep doing this. Hold on here. Let me bring this down a little bit because I keep leaning. How's that? There we go. So, what the hell does that mean? What does there's a couple things here now right away that came to my mind. And that is Blackbeard gonna try and steal something important from this island? I can't be the Seraphim. He can't control them. Does he know intel? Does he have intel there about maybe think they have other devil fruit, artificial devil fruits like the one Momonosuke has is there, and he wants that for his crew? Or the other thing I'm thinking of is he's planning on destroying it for some reason because he's concerned about the capabilities of what Vegapunk can do and how this could be a thorn in his side to get the One Piece. Especially since I'm not sure, has it become part of the news now that has like Morgan's reported about the Vegapunk's the science division thing is gonna be the replacement for the Warlords? I know he knows the Warlords is disbanded because he read it and he decided to use that advantage to go after Hancock about 20 chapters ago. So very interesting because it looks like he's really thinking about how to win. Blackbeard definitely, in certain points, is really planning his stuff out, and it's like he's just definitely becoming the most like capable enemy to everyone in here. Like Big Mom and Kaido obviously were very strong and had a lot of crew members, but they were just focusing on building up their own strength and then taking out everyone. And it's like I think Blackbeard's doing this in a different way, possibly a smarter way. I probably would have done things like Kaido, but though I would not have waited so long. Jesus, I was rewatching the fight with him and Big Mom yesterday, and I was thinking, you guys are all upset because the new generation is coming. You're like, why'd you wait so many decades to enact these plans of yours? Well, maybe Big Mom because she's wanting to have more children and bolster her forces that way. Kaido, I'm a little surprised Kaido didn't like try and do this plan sooner because I really feel like he probably had the better advantage. He probably could have defeated. I think he would have beat Big Mom in the end. They make him out to be very equal, but even Big Mom had a statement about how Kaido was like a monster. And I think that was back at Whole Cake Island, and she almost made it sound like to me that she could be even a little afraid of him. But when push came to shove, and she was there with him on Onigashima, she didn't hesitate to go fight with him. So so maybe Kaido would have a tougher time than I'm saying, but it's just like, other than trying to get the poneglyphs, them waiting so long just seemed really silly because now they just open themselves up to new challengers all the time, and they just got overconfident. Now Blackbeard 2 is a new threat to them. That I doubt they even were worried about him, but I think they really should have. He definitely looks like he's got the most dangerous crew because he's got like more members that are probably because he got them all from level 6. The new ones. It's just like I could not see Big Mom's crew or Kaido's, especially because he don't have that many. Well, he had those other officers. What did he call those 6? The one that Drake was part of. It just the way it looks like if they had stacked up in a fight, maybe Big Mom would do better because she's got so many children with abilities. that they could give Blackbeard a harder time. Um, but anyways, yeah, Blackbeard really like taking doing a I was about to say kind of a divide and conquer plan here to I think to like weaken things enough so that he can defeat everyone in a more of a not a fell swoop. That's kind of what I'm sure Big Mom kind of wanted to do, but he's gonna go after the throat of everyone once he's got his weakened them enough. So we get to the last scene now. There's an extended one, I guess you could call. And we finally go back to Kid and Shanks. And where do I start with this? So we saw that Kid made it to Elbath in like what was that, about 15 chapters ago, a little less than that. And then 2 chapters ago or so we saw that Shanks has been here, and I was speculating about Shanks being like a protector of this place, and it just kind of seems like that. So and we get beginning here. We get a few new characters introduced to us by Oda, and we see some of these allies that uh, captains that are under his alliance, and Oda went Oda went with some neat designs for these guys. We got one that looks like a uh, he almost has a fish-like face to him, and he's called the Puddle Pirate Captain Ballfinger Geotany. Oh, what kind of name is that? I should have looked that up. Giro. Yeah, isn't that some kind of frog sound? Yeah, so there's one that looks like a frog, and they're all upset that the Kid is here. We can see for one thing here that the pirate alliance, the alliance that Shanks have are very devoted to him. They're not like afraid of him. They're not like I feel like some of the pirate people who followed Whitebeard could have been afraid of him, and that's why they followed him. Though we saw many of them still considered him to be their pops, so maybe not. But these guys definitely are upset. The next one we get, the funniest one for me is we get this captain who looks like he's quite old, and he's got dentures of all things because we see him falling out, and we can't even hear what he's saying, except he goes like he's following up with the first one. The first one was like the puddle captain was like, "You won't get through to him. You won't get through us and see Shanks. We'll stop you right here." And the next guy goes, "That's right," but he's got his dentures out, so it's all blah 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 blah. And he's called the Social Club Captain Dentures Foger, and there's someone even behind him. One of his crew members or his officers are like, "Pop, your dentures fell out." Oh, excuse me. And the last one is this other princess, and she's like, she just is like, "Yes, I agree. We're not gonna let you get in here. I hate you, fools. Get out of here." So, and she's called the Princess of the Bourgeois Pirate. Oh, is that bourgeois? I think that's a French word. Her name is like Shivering Puru. She looks kind of like one of those the little fairy people from I can't think of the names now, from Dressrosa. We don't know how tall she is though. She could just be a regular human, but the way she's drawn just reminds me of those folk from there. Can't think of their damn name now. Anyways, Kid apparently here doesn't think very much of them because he says, is this a joke that this kind of fleet is part of Red Hair's alliance? Are we still in a new world? Uh, and Killer is advising him is like, uh, uh, yeah, of course we're still here, but those are some of those pirates are actually quite famous. We should not let our guard down. Um, wait, let me look at this in a minute. So, after this Kid just like whether or not they're fodder or tougher or whatever, we're not going to hold back on these guys. And so we switch here to Shanks, and even also by the way, these alliance members of Shanks, those his subordinates, I guess you'd call them too, but they're forming a blockade between Kid's ship and the and Elbath there. Uh, Actually, look at the front on some of them. They got some interesting mastheads. One's got like a looks like it's got a bat. The other looks like a cow. I can't see. That one looks kind of like a dragon. Interesting. Elder's got some interesting, good designs going on here. So Shanks here, instead of having them fight, he starts ordering these captains to have their ships move out of the way, and the others are upset at this because they like want to help protect him. They're again showing their loyalty, and he's like, but he issues the order again, like, I'm glad you guys want to help me, but I'm gonna handle this. And we meet a few more captains here, but we don't get any name cards. Some of them are like, "Oh, you're leaving already? We just met you. We finally get to meet you, huh?" So how do they feel loyalty? How do they like pledge loyalty to this guy they never met? Maybe these aren't actual captains then, but we get a couple other people there. There's this woman who looks like a, not Bonnie. She remind me of Perona, maybe, and she's got like this big hat on and a cigarette. Oda loves having a character with a cigarette, doesn't he? And then there's another guy who's like, looks like he would be Blackbeard's dad. He's like, stooped over a little, and he's got a huge black beard of his own. And then as Shanks is coming out too, we have other people going around him. Probably like there's a woman there who's hugging him, and some of the other people I assume would be like probably giving pats on the back, like Captain Shanks, we're so glad to see you. Oh, there's even a guy behind him that's got like looks like a robot face. He's got like a weird jaw, and another guy looks like he's got something akin to a sombrero on. And so Shanks is answering these people who are sad that he's leaving, and he's like, I was only going to stay here for a short while. Look what happened when I stayed too long. Now this hotshot's coming to tail me and cause trouble. Uh, um, so they say something interesting here. I think they're implying too that because he's not letting them fight, they're like, this is why we're always known for being so weak. Uh, but thanks to your flag, we've survived this long, even in like the new world. So I'm guessing these are not like some other. It looks like what's going on here is Shanks takes in other pirate groups that no one else would, and protects them like orphans almost. He reminds me. This is really interesting here because we're about to see where Shanks' fighting style seems to resemble, and I'm thinking much like Roger, which I'm hinting at here, is he takes in people who others wouldn't, and um, yeah, because a kid too was commenting on how weak these crew members look. So now Shanks gets on his ship, and we have Lucky Roo and Yassop and the others talking with him, and Lucky Roo starts by saying, "We'll take care of this for you too, Shanks." Like, so everyone's ready to like help him. It's like he never. It seems like Shanks doesn't get too often to have to lift a finger in a fight because everyone is so loyal to him. Is ready to fight for him. Oh yeah, who's the other? That's the one. Lime Juice. Is that his name? The guy with the long hair is there too. Just standing there, and but Shanks responds to Lucky Roo by saying, "This is a youngster with a 3 billion bounty. We should not underestimate him." Uh, and then he talks with Yasef, who's surveying Kid with his telescope, and he looks like he's trying to be. He doesn't want to attack them if they're still hurt, because he asked Yasef, "Have their wounds healed from their fight in Wano?" And Yasep responds like, "Yep, he looks fine, and I can tell he's itching for a fight." And then he talks to one other person here, and I don't recognize this one as one of his main crew members. Some guy sitting there with like a ponytail and a knot, and he looks like he's keeping tabs on Blackbeard, because he asked this guy anything. Do you know what? Have we heard anything new? And he's like, other than him leaving Pirate Island, we don't know anything about what's up with him. And then he let's see. And then he says, I think Shanks was someone who says, I thought the other guy said this, but he said, I was surprised he didn't show his face in Wano. So then this guy gives Shanks papers that talks about of intel on Red Kid. Uh, and so Shanks looks over this. He's got quite whoever put this together. This is quite a list of papers. He got like a thick amount of papers there, and he recounts a couple things we already know. Like he's from the South Blue, and he's not a nice pirate as we've seen. And so now we switch back to Kid, and he's asking Killer to assess like how many ships are there, and so now Kid, this is where the fight's going to pick up here, and Kid's like, the Killer tells him there's 9 ships there, counting 9, and then Kid's like, doesn't matter how many there are, I'll take them all out, and he pulls out his what's that called, the damned punk. That's his attack that he used. It's the one he used against Big Mom back in. Let me make sure that's the right name too. Damned punk. I was just checking with the official translation from the chapter where they defeat Big Mom, and that says, yeah, he pulls out this cannon, which I believe is supposed to be part of his awakening. By the way, I wonder what that attack will look like in the anime. Because I was just watching, I'm like, this is thinking, because I was thinking about this chapter, the fight with Big Mom and Kaido when they're fighting the Kid, Law, Luffy, Zoro, and Killer together, and they unleash. I didn't like. When did Oda decide that ki blasts or Ryatsu blast type things from like Bleach were going to be a thing in here? Because I'm looking at this too. When Killer uses this, like, it looked like he just essentially shot a laser beam like Kid, Big Mom, and they did the same thing with their hockey, and they sent that gigantic wave at the 5 of them on top, and Zoro was able to block it. And that was very impressive looking, by the way, in the anime. I was rewatching it last night. And Kaido, Roger did the same thing. Had the other attack he used, and I think is that the one he uses against Odin? It's like Oda's finally like, okay, I've done this about everything else. I guess I'm going to add Ki Blast to this now. So, anyways, Killer prepares to his damn punk attack here again, and he actually we get something interesting here, where Shanks, we see that Shanks has observation hockey just like Katakuri, and did Kaido have that too? And then Luffy has, where he sees what the let's see, hold on a sec. There's too much happening in this part. So Shanks really at this point he's getting worried about his crew or his alliance crews, and he makes them he sees what's about to happen with Kid's attack, and it's the pull of his charging it is so great that it's even pulling other ships near them toward him. It looks like whatever like metals under the cannons and whatnot probably like force them to wade toward him. So I had to reread this now just to see how this works. I thought he was still on the shore, but he pops up right practically in front of Kid's ship, and he pulls out a divine departure. The same attack Roger used when Odin's flashback, and it just utterly slashes in half Kid's magnetic gun. Oh, I can't wait to see that in the anime. It just destroyed it, and there's like an explosion on the deck of his ship with smoke everywhere. And like this Kid is just like he's flown back, blood everywhere. The other crew members are like are in awe of what happened, and they're worried about Kid. And we see Shanks just standing there with like his eyes are just dark, and he just looks so different than any other way we've seen him. He was always so jolly most of the time, and he, like in a Marineford, he was very somber, and but now he just looks so cold. And then we see the other crew members of Kid around Kid, and the others even remark how Killer got hurt too, because he kind of come in there and help, or maybe he tried to bodyguard Kid from taking that damage. And so the other crew members immediately just like say, well, we give up, and they hand over the road poneglyphs rubbings they got to Kid. And then we just see Kid, he's just out for the count. He just, his eyes are glazed over, kind of like Luffy's, as I recall too from the oh, so this is where it really gets serious now. Oda is really showing a new side of Shanks here, and like what happens, because so Shanks starts walking away, and I don't know if he did this, prepped this beforehand, but he leaves the ship, and suddenly Dory and Bragi are shown on shore, bringing back their weapons, and they're reminiscent of something we saw way back. And they yell to him, you know, your little runs, if you're coming to our hometown with a loaded gun, expect the same thing to happen to you. And they swing their weapons and, using what's it called, Hagaku sovereignty, split Kid's ship right in half. It just like they did with that fish. And we end the chapter with we end the chapter showing the narrator doing the same kind of thing he's done with like at Wano, when the other people were the outcome of a fight. In Elbath and New World, the Kid Pirates, spearheaded by Captain Eustace Kidd of the who was worth $3 billion, were utterly destroyed. I mean, the last panel, one of the last panels too, is just Shanks again, but this time we see his one eye, the one with the scar, and he just looks very fierce still. Like he's in his completely different mode than he usually is. Like he didn't even try to stop the Dorian Bragi from doing this. He means business this time. I wonder, oh my God. I wonder if he would have gone easy on them if he hadn't read his little kid's rap sheet a few moments ago. Oh my shit. I'm a little worried here. This an end of chapter. I don't think there's a break. Is there a break next week? Wait. Oh, there is a break. Oh shit. Oh man. Now we gotta wait too to see what's happening with Straw Hats. Holy shit. Is that the same thing they used before? Let's see. All right, got that lined up here. So anyways, holy shit. I'm wondering now if Kid not Kid. Everyone I saw the spoilers for this yesterday, and everyone's speculating that Kid's gone completely. But I'm not so sure Oda would kill him right away. He made him such a not principal character the way he did with Law, but he's been shown a lot since the Sabaody arc. And he helped them out fighting the Yonko at Wano. I don't know. It's kind of almost sad in a way that Kid is the one we had to see Shanks' power. Because now I was thinking too. I looked it up. This is like I think only the third time now that Shanks has ever pulled out his sword like this that I can remember. The first time was when he and Whitebeard were talking back in chapter 434, and then again at Marineford in chapter 579 when he stopped Akainu from killing Kobe, and now today. Now this chapter when he takes out Kid in one hit. I was gonna say the ship, but Dorian and Bragi do that. Here, let me pull that chapter. Yeah, it looks like that was the same attack they used against when they destroyed that giant. What kind of fish was that? That was stopped. That was almost swallowed the Straw Hats. Well, it did swallow the Straw Hats, and then they cut it in half with their weapons. the same tech they used to take out Kid's ship just now, which I don't even know what the name of his ship is anymore. But it's dead now. It's ripped in half. Kid messed with the wrong Yonko. I was kind of not surprised. I'm not surprised by this outcome either because him and Law, the only reason they really defeated Big Mom is Law trapped her in some kind of bubble, and the technique was based on Corozon's ability to mix silence. And then, if I remember right, I just read this morning. Let me think. A Kid uses that damned punk laser beam to blast her off Onigashima, and she couldn't get back. And this happened before where they knocked her off. How did they do that before? I was just watching it last night. They knocked her off before, but Prometheus was able to save her before when she was in the water. But in this time, they were still over the water at that point. And this time, the second time, they knock her into like a. Somehow they created a crevice that went into the lava and knocked her into there. And then yeah, she couldn't call Prometheus. They need to hear her call for help to come. Did they trap her again? Cause they trapped Zeus the first time. A Kid had trapped Zeus inside a metal box to keep him from coming out, and then she got so mad at him, that's when she ousted him as one of her loyal homies, and now he's with Nami. By the way, I keep seeing people say that Big Mom's dead, but I just realized something. If she's dead, shouldn't Zeus be gone too? He's with Nami now, and he's a homie from a piece of her soul. If I understand like Devil Fruit rules correctly, someone has to be dead. If someone's dead, something with their power, their thing is like that. Everything like that just stops. So if Zeus is still alive, like he's still like a sentient thundercloud, that means Big Mom must be still alive. That right there suggests to me that if I understand that right. So, anyways, yeah, Yonko. I'm just not surprised because they just knocked her down out of the battlefield basically, and Luffy too. I don't think is even though they're calling him a Yonko, he got severely like this. That was like lucky against Kaido because everyone else you could think of pretty much was fighting him first, except like the other Straw Hats and whatnot. Him and Zoro and Kid, Killer and Law all had to work together to try and fight with him, and they were having to deal with Big Mom at the same time. The Scabbards all fought him, and I don't think they did anything really, except maybe wake and waste some stamina. Hopefully a lot of it, because I don't think they had the advanced armament hockey. Yeah, like Luffy just barely won that fight because he had like a chance when he got knocked out the first time. He had a chance to replenish his health, essentially his stamina, his energy by eating a lot, and he came back basically refreshed. While Kaido would just finished fighting them before, and he had a scar from Zoro, and Luffy punched him around a little bit before. So like seeing this worst generation that are they got billions of berries of bounty now go up against these Yonko who have been around for decades. Well, Shanks hasn't, but he's 40 years old, something years old, but Yonko for a short time. But go up against these guys that been around longer. Just I didn't see. Well, I don't know what Law though. Law feels like almost a lone exception because his powers are so unique. I don't know if he can beat Blackbeard, especially because he's got backup there. But if anyone was like, I would have given a better chance against the current Yonko. It would either be Luffy now or Law, not just Kid. The other thing with Kid is that it's impressive how much he can build all that metal, and he can make giant fists that I recall he did like against Kaido. But if he doesn't have the advanced hockey either, that won't help him in a battle. But oh, another thing. So wait, I was just gonna check too. I wanted to see if this is the same stance they used. They see one was on the left. Axe guy's he's on the left. Yeah, even Oda even has him in the same position too. The guy with the axe, or was it Dory? Which one is which again? I think Bragi is the one with the axe, and Dory, whatever. The one with the axe is on the left, and one with the sword on the right. They're in the same exact position, facing out as it was in Little Garden. um, and clearly, these weapons. I doubt these weapons broke this time. No, actually, you can see that they didn't. You can see when you see the ship cracked in half, and it shows them on shore. They still got the weapons intact this time because those other ones were worn out from their uh, fighting for 100 years. Which actually, by the way, too, did that mean they fight with just their fists after that, or did they just give up their contest for the time being because they couldn't do anything without weapons? I mean, their shields might be okay, but can they make? They couldn't make new weapons. I don't think they had nothing there to make with, and I don't think they had other weapon backups with them. Oh, and the last thing too, I was hinting earlier. It's clear where Shanks now must have learned from Roger how to fight because he used the same exact attack that we just saw, and that was in. I was looking earlier. It was chapter 966 that Odin was hit with that attack. Don't I have that? It's lined up. I had that lined up here. Where'd I put it? There it is. Yeah, 966. Find that right there. Yeah, he just swiped it at Odin and knocked him into a tree. I doubt he was even trying his fullest against that because it probably would have killed Odin, I'm sure. So, actually, this is funny because I was just thinking the other day, because the way Shanks looks with those pants Shanks wears looks very similar to Rayleigh's, and I was wondering if Rayleigh was maybe the guy who primarily taught him, but Roger used the sword too, so maybe they both were his teachers in his youth to how to use a sword. Well, Rayleigh probably still could have been his teacher further because when Roger died, I think Shanks was still pretty young, probably what 13 or 14, and he would still need some more. Probably wouldn't be a great swordsman just yet. So yeah, it's clear he learned from Roger though. He must have seen this attack and then adopted it basically. Actually, looking at Rayleigh's sword here in this flashback, he's got a neat one. He looks more. It doesn't look like a cutlass he has there. And also, whatever happened to that guy named Gabon? I want to know where that guy went. It looks like he wields two axes. So, anyways, rest in peace, Red Hair, I suppose. At least we got to see what happened with that. I'm surprised we got to see that first and not what happened with Black. Well, I can see why Oda's doing it. He wants us to wait until the end. I didn't think we'd see this until the end of the chapter arc. I was really happy to see that Oda's still like switching back from time to time to have us see other things happening. But now I wonder if he'll wait till the very end of the arc to see the outcome of Law and Blackbeard's fight. And if we also like will we get anything? Maybe will he switch back to anything else? Like we don't. We know Garp's about to go to the pirate island. Who else? What else is happening that's outside? That might be happening elsewhere. I think that was about it. I think that was the main thing because everything else we've been seeing has to do with other characters who are about to come here to Egghead. So we probably see them when they arrive. So Kizaru. I don't know if I wonder if Marco will come there with Stussy or if they're planning just trying to make a phone call somehow. So and this stuff with York, yeah, that was interesting. I'm now we can have some more speculation about what she's gonna do next. So anyways, thanks for watching.